Hey guys, and welcome to another video from CodeJam. In this video, we'll be discussing AWS CloudFormation Git Sync. Okay, we'll be doing a demo of how to connect and configure your Git-based repository, maybe your GitHub, to connect to AWS CloudFormation. This way, you can easily deploy resources by just committing or sending in new commits to Git or your Git repository, which is GitHub. Okay, so here I've got a simple diagram to demonstrate the flow. Here you've got your CloudFormation infrastructure on AWS. CloudFormation is a service that allows you perform infrastructure as code. That is, you write code that creates AWS services like your load balancers, your EC2 instances, and all that, your networking and all that. Okay. So in CloudFormation, we have something called stacks. So stacks are just groups of resources you want to deploy, right? So what is going on here is with AWS CloudFormation Git Sync, you can directly connect your Git repository to CloudFormation rather. And once you do that, whenever you make a push from here on your computer to GitHub, it automatically updates whatever configuration or whatever stack you have on AWS. Right? Initially, what you would use to do this is you have to configure a deployment pipeline, maybe using code build and code commit and all that. But now with AWS CloudFormation Git Sync, it's relatively easy if you just want to deploy a stack. All right, so in this video, I'm going to be doing a demo of that. I'm going to show you how to configure GitHub and set up a connection to CloudFormation. All right, so here I've got the documentation if you want to learn more about working with AWS CloudFormation Git Sync. I've also got a sample GitHub repository we'll be working with over here on GitHub. So I'll be demoing with GitHub, and also I've got my CloudFormation open here, so you can see as of now I've only got an existing stack. We're going to create a new stack and do the test. Right, so first thing before what we need to do to start, first thing to do is we'll create a stack based on the documentation. For this, we need to click on create stack. All right, so down here I'll just select uploaded template and I'll choose template file. I've already got a file in my disk with the necessary resources, a CloudFormation script. So I'll just click that and select the file. Okay, so this would open up and I'll click next. And I need to give a name, so I would just name this cloud network. And all the way down, I'll put in parameters. These are all the parameters that were declared in the template. So some of them are defaults and all that. So I'll select availability zone. I would go with availabilities US East 1B. And I'll click next. So after that, I need to select a role for my CloudFormation script. So for me to do that, I'll just click on this drop down and I will select the network SSM CloudFormation role. It depends on you. You could create whatever role you want based on the resources you're creating. This role needs to allow CloudFormation create those resources, right? So I'll scroll all the way down and I will click next. And this is a review. I'll just review what I've done and the stack name, which is cloud network, and all the configurable parameters that I initially entered. Now I'll scroll all the way down and I'll click on submit. Okay, so this would create our initial stack. Would have to wait till our stack completely creates before we go on to the next step. Okay, so our stack is done creating, as you can see here, create complete. Yeah, create complete. So the next thing we need to do now is connect GitHub to the this stack we just created, which is the cloud network. All right, so I would scroll all the way to the right here and you will see a new option here, a new button here, which is the Git Sync. So once you click on it, you scroll all the way down and you will see some information here telling you that this feature, which is Git Sync with CloudFormation, makes use of code star as a way to connect to AWS, as a way to connect to Git, right? So whatever Git repository, how it could be Bitbucket, could be GitHub. Okay, so I'll click on connect. All right, so next I would need to specify an IAM role for my CloudFormation, which in this case, it's still the same role I used initially, but you could choose a different role depending on your use case. So I would select the same role I had initially and I'll click next. And I'll scroll all the way down. Since we're linking a new Git repository, I would just choose link a new repository, right? And for the repository provider, I'll be making use of GitHub as I initially said. And I'll come down to connections. You can see I've got no connection. So what I need to do next is just to add a new connection. Okay, and to do that, I need to click on this little link here, add a new connection, and this will take me to the code pipeline page to add a connection. Okay, in here, I would select GitHub, and I'll give my connection a name. I would name this Cloud Network Git, and I would come here and click connect to GitHub. Okay, so I would just click connect, and this would take me to the next phase where I need to install an app on GitHub. So I'll just click on install a new app. So this would start to authenticate with my Git provider, which is GitHub. Okay, in here I would select the accounts, and I would select here, I would only select the given number of repositories, in this case 1, and I would select the repository I had initially created, which is the Cloud Network. Okay, so this is Cloud Network. Okay, so you can see it's here, Cloud Network, and then I'll click on install. Okay, so this would do something behind the scene to link up our CloudFormation infrastructure on AWS with our Git provider, in this case GitHub. All right, so as you can see in the screen, our connection is up. Once that's up, you would see that the GitHub apps here will be previewed with the app identity. And the next thing we need to do is to click on connect. Okay, our connection was successful. So we go back to the CloudFormation screen where we're trying to configure Git, and we'll just click on this little icon to refresh. Okay, so click there, and then would hit the drop down button. I would select Cloud Network Git. Okay, so once we do that, we'd select a repository, in this case, the Cloud Network repository, and we'd select a branch. As at now, there aren't any branch coming up. That's because our Git repository in here is empty. So we need to push some code to GitHub, right? So I'll just select that, and I'll go over to VS Code. VS Code in here, you see we have a basic README file and the network.yaml file, which we used in the initial creation. All right, so I'm just going to initialize a new Git repository with git init command. I'm just going to do git remote add origin to add the repository. Right, so I've done that. Now I'll just need to commit my change and hit git commit initial infra, and I would push this. Okay, so I would push this now to the branch, the remote branch. Okay, so that's going. I've just pushed this. So if we come here and we refresh, we'll see now that we've got on the remote, we've got our files in here. Okay, so I'll go back to CloudFormation, and I would now hit this little button to refresh, and now I would see a main branch. Okay, so the next thing we need to put in now is our deployment file path. So this deployment file path is just the name of a file where CloudFormation will write some metadata, some information regarding our stack. This includes some, if our stack requires a parameter, those parameters and all that. Okay, so I'm just going to name mine param dot param dot YAML. And next we need to associate the this Git connection with an IAM role. Okay, so for me, I'm just going to click on new role. This would create a new role and associate this with this stack. All right, and then we need to provide an a name for the role. So I would say I'll name this cloud network stack Git. All right, so I will scroll the way down. The next thing is our stack deployment file. So this is essentially the CloudFormation template you're using for deployment. All right, so and in our project, you can see we've been using the network.yaml file. This is just a network. This CloudFormation script creates a network infrastructure on AWS, like your VPC, your subnets, and your NAT instance. All right, so the name of the file is network.yaml. So I'll enter in the name of the file. And after that, we'll scroll to the end. This just provides a view of the configuration file that will be added to your project after this configuration setup is complete. All right, so I'm okay with it. And it's got the template file part, which is the network.yaml, which is in the root. It's got a couple of parameters, which are some are default parameters and the ones specified during the initial creation of the stack. Right, so next I just need to click on create configuration. Okay, that's going. Okay, so this happens sometimes. This is a very common error. This happens sometimes when the creation of the IAM role was initially not complete before the connection was made. So I experienced this as well. So what you need to do is just to hit create again. All right, so you see now we've successfully created a connection. All right, so on doing this, you would notice that when you go to the repository, you'll notice that AWS will open a new PRO to the repository, adding those configurable parameters I had mentioned before, the params file. So I'll just refresh, and here you see we've got a new pull request. So if we open it, you see add CloudFormation deployment for cloud network. And if we scroll down, you could see a clear description of what this PRO is doing. It contains configurable parameters for AWS to work with your, for Git to work with your CloudFormation stack. And I'll scroll the way down, and to complete the connection here on CloudFormation, I need to merge the pull request. So I'll go on GitHub and I will scroll down and I will click on merge pull request, confirm merge. And once this is done, this will create an event here on CloudFormation. Okay. So we just merged it. So we'll scroll down and you see that everything worked as expected. You would see that first of all, initially the change set was created. First of all, we had the uploaded CloudFormation template. Template was bundled. The change set was created, and then so you see that the change set creation failed. I think because our CloudFormation script had no new change. So if you scroll, the reason was the submitted information didn't contain changes. All right. So our CloudFormation script in the repository is still the initial, has the same and exact resources we had initially used to create the stack. All right. But as our connection to Git is complete, and the only thing we need to do now is to verify this by updating the CloudFormation script and then pushing it to Git. All right. On doing that, we'd expect that CloudFormation will create the new resources. All right, so I'll go to the right here to my VS Code, and you'd see that in here we've got all the CloudFormation script. So I'll make some minor updates to this script, and we expect that the updates should go to GitHub, and GitHub should trigger a new deployment or an update to our existing stack. All right, so the update I'll be doing, I'll just copy this NAT instance and I will create a new NAT instance. So let's say we want to add an extra NAT instance to our network infrastructure. So I'll paste that and I'll scroll all the way to the up. I would ensure this matches properly to the indentation is correct. And yeah, I need to verify this. And okay, so to easily do that, I just need to close all this and the indentation is correct. I'll call this NAT instance 2. And I'll scroll all the way down and I'll look at the properties of this template. It's still using an EC2 instance. Depends on a couple of resources. The same availability zone, that's okay. The instance type is okay. The security group is okay. Source destination check, of course, this is a NAT instance. You want to disable that. And I've got some user data scripts that should run on boot up of this instance. Okay, so I've added a new resources. And now the only thing we need to do is to commit these resources and push it to Git. Right, so I'm just going to clear this and I'm just going to add a commit here. Say add new NAT instance. And I'm going to push this to Git. If everything is all right and CloudFormation is okay with the change in the template, they should create a new instance on EC2. So git push origin main. Okay, okay, so because we actually merged the pull request, there's a difference in what we have locally and what's on Git. So the first thing we needed to do was to pull. So I'm going to pull origin main. Okay, I'm just going to add a commit message to the pull. I would just say fetch remote changes. And I'm going to save that. And I'm just going to push this again to the main branch. And yeah, that's successfully pushed that. And I would go towards to CloudFormation here and I would refresh this. We expect to see a change here in CloudFormation. This should take like a couple of seconds. Okay, so let's verify. Okay, so let's check. Let's go all the way down and look at resources. And we could go to EC2. And I would select running instance. And now you see we have a new instance initializing. This is the second NAT instance. Okay, so the name is blank, but this is actually the second NAT instance. You can see the instance type is M3 and M3.medium. And if we select it, you see that it has some user data scripts and all that. So we could just do just go over to action. I think the instance is still booting up, so we wouldn't be able to see the user data script, but actually our new deployment is working. We can see the new instance coming up. I think it's still initializing. And yeah, so I can go into instance setting. I think around here you can see user data scripts, and we can see that this is the same exact user data script we had added here from our CloudFormation script. And this shows you that the Git connection is successful and everything seems to work as expected, right? So this can be very useful for when you want to add some couple of automations to your infrastructure, like you want to add easy deployments, PRO testing and all that. So I think this is very good, and this is a quick way to automate stuff. All right, so that's it for this video, guys. Before you go, don't forget to delete whatever resources you've created. So select the CloudFormation script and scroll all the way to the top and click on delete, and delete. This would clear out all the resources you've created, and this will prevent you from incurring any cost.